Yeah. What's up out there? We back at it again with another live. The King's Table 901. We got a special guest today. Oh, real special. MzPoly Polyright. We're going to see what's happening here in a minute. We're going to bring her on. We've already been having some interesting talks. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes down, you know. And I think it's going to be explosive. I'm going to go ahead and add it because it's already been explosive. I ain't going to keep it in the backstage. Can you? There you go. I can hear you now. How you doing over there?
Yeah, good. I am well. I am well today.
This
Hmm.
Saturday. What is it still morning there? You're what an hour behind? It's about like
Yes.
noon, so you're still morning there, yeah. So
Uh,
good morning, still good morning.
Morning.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well,
Good morning. Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
I've
It is a good
yeah, I know,
day.
right? Yeah, I know, right? I've kind of introduced you, but I'm telling you, this is you guys, this is MzPoly Polyright, and we're going to be going over quite a few things. If my iPad had quit ringing, but anyway, anyway, we're gonna be going over quite a few things today. The King's Table got a special announcement. We'll be talking about various subjects, you know, the dating scene and all that stuff in the USA, which is getting kind of interesting right now. International dating, international culture, uh, poly life, just a little bit of everything, I guess, and we will let it free flow. But I'll let our special guest kind of introduce herself and kind of what she talks about on her Instagram page. I've seen a few of her clips, but I'll let her formally introduce herself and go from there. All right, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm Miss Polly. I'm Miss Polly. I go by Polly a lot of times. What I do is pretty much I try to educate people about poly life and what it is, the different kinds of sides of poly and kind to fix the air when it comes to what it is, what it's not. There's a lot of people who claim that they are doing poly and it's not, and so I'm here basically to fix that issue and kind of clear up the differences. So then, when you meet these so-called people, you
Mm-hmm.
can that's not what it is and correct them, and be able to decipher certain.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I give out relationship advice. So I'm a life
Okay.
coach also. Who better to get advice from than a person who has multiple relationships, not just one. I also have been monogamous prior to too. So I have a good verse on both
Right.
sides. And I am
Okay.
on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, Miss Poly Polyright, and I'm on Instagram too. So I give out that advice and give little videos for now. And most of the time I'm on podcasts though, giving my point of view as a different, a different kind of relationship person in some different situations. Yeah, that's what I'm
I mean,
interested in.
everybody's. Yeah, I guess I can imagine everybody don't have the same desires when it come to being in a relationship. But let's back up a little bit because with like the LGBTQ community and all these different communities, like I'm sure the poly community, like some of the terms, like you say you are interested in educating people. I have no clue about poly life. So let's start with some of the basic stuff, like just the overall, the basic dynamics of a poly
Yeah,
relationship.
absolutely. And I try not to give word soup because I don't want to get anybody all crazy. More details. More words. One thing that if you really want to push
That
hard
does.
on getting
Mm-hmm.
educated with the wording, yeah, sorry
Mm-hmm.
about that. But the
No, you're good.
for just simple base, it's just having a relationship with more than one person at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, and however that looks, kind of puts you in where it belongs. But it's
Okay.
a full on like connection. It's not just sexual because there's a whole other group of
Mm-hmm.
people who are just sexual and they don't belong over here. And we'll clear up some of the basics. So when you hear people say like I'm homosexual or um, bisexual, and then you have all the other
Mm-hmm.
lettering, that's kind of saying who you're attracted to or how you want to identify yourself as a
Mm-hmm.
person. You can be any of
Right.
those and still be poly. You can be heterosexual and be poly. So
Poly.
saying you're
Right.
poly doesn't mean you're not telling anyone what your desires for other people or who you are, who you're representing as a person. You're just saying,
Right.
I instead of being a monogamous person, which is a one-on-one relationship, I just I like more than one person in a relationship. So you can actually be heterosexual and be poly.
Mm-hmm.
You can be bisexual, be you can be homosexual and be poly. So
Poly.
those are separate. Those are sexual orientations and identifying words, and that's not what we're
Right.
saying. We're saying the kind you want to be in, which is monogamous
Mm-hmm.
is one on one, and then poly is more than one. So that's what we're saying. You can do the
Right.
that's why they say a lot of times we get thrown in there with the people who are we call them lifestylers in this world. I know it's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
separate world. We
Mm-hmm.
people who are like really into wife swapping, call colds, and all those crazy words.
Swinging and
Those
all that
are
stuff. Yeah.
sexual things you're into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Swinging.
that's
Yeah.
sexual desire. There are people who are probably who aren't into any of those things.
Right.
So that's separation between the sexual activities or the activities you do with partners is separate from what you're saying, the kind of dynamic you want to be in. So that really, if that doesn't clear it up, I don't know. Just separate the sexual activities from the actual relationship, and then that basically will help you kind of
Right.
visualize what it is.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to do that because we are living in a hypersexual world right now. Everything is hypersexual right now. So, as soon as you say certain words, they're trigger words to people, and they automatically go there with it. So you have to kind of okay, stop. Let's break this back down. Let's get back to what it really is. And let's grow up a little bit. I'll say it like that. So but what I'm hearing is this is not for people who are out here, oh, you
Right.
just cheating, you just got multiple women or multiple men, you just out here cheating. No, that's not what we talking about. We talking about, for example, if I was in a relationship with two
No.
women, they both know about each other and all that stuff. It's open. We know about each other, and it's that dynamic. We're not out here just
Right.
cheating and running around. It's more than about sex. I mean, we actually interact, maybe do business, cook, whatever we decide to do in that relationship with each other. You know, that's what it is.
Right. Right. Like is I think, and another one big misconception is that you can't cheat when you're poly. You definitely can.
You can,
We
right?
usually don't say cheat. We'll say like you didn't respect my boundaries. That's basically what it's saying, because usually if you're poly, you have a lot more communication because
Right.
you have to. You have to
Mm-hmm.
communicate so people know what's what and what's not. So if you say, hey, my boundary is I don't want you to, when we're on a date, I don't want you to talk to other women. If you see someone attractive, can you not interact with them while we're having our special time together? If you go outside of
Right.
that and while I go to the bathroom get someone's number, you're breaking a boundary I set. I didn't say you could never talk to
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. I just said that this is my time, please respect it. So you're disrespecting that
Mm-hmm.
boundary. But some people like, oh, well,
Right.
it's like he's cheating. Well, no, he's disrespecting my boundary because I never said he couldn't do certain things. He just, respect
Right.
what
Mm-hmm.
bothers me and what doesn't, and stay within those boundaries. What it is.
Well, it sounds like to me that needs to be in just any type of relationship, whether it be poly, monogamous, whatever it
It
is.
should.
You need to be respecting each other's boundaries for sure. So I
Absolutely.
mean, sounds like at the end of the day, it boils back to the basic principles of having any type of relationship: communication, being open, honest,
Yeah.
um, knowing what triggers someone, knowing each other's boundaries and things like that. So let me ask you this. This is going to be interesting because it's not like you can just walk up in Walmart and be like, hey, are you interested in being in a polymorphous relationship? You know, how how does that even happen? You know what I mean? It's like, what? That's like in another word, like in a movie or something, you know. But where does
Mhm.
that? How does that even happen?
It is. General. Like I suppose a lot of times, I'm a lady, so let's just say someone approaches me, um,
Hmm.
and they say they're interested in talking to me. I would let them know, well, I'm flattered you're interested in talking to me. That's awesome. Uh, I am poly though, so I have more than one
That's fine.
partner. Um, Most of the time, they think, oh, okay, so you're into girls. That's what they get. Oh, you're into girls, and then I'm like,
Hmm.
no. And then they're like, so wait, and they kind of break it down, and then they have to sit there and then decipher and make a decision on if you want to continue to
Hmm.
converse with me. That's
Well,
I think that's what
I
people, a lot of people who
yeah,
start are kind
yeah,
of nervous, like, oh, everyone's gonna say
yeah,
no to me. They're not.
yeah. Well, that other dynamic, the first thing a guy, I guess that's the nature of a guy because he's not thinking. The last thing he wants to think in his mind is another guy. You know what I mean? So of course he's gonna say, you into multiple women because that's
Yeah,
the male
it makes sense.
fantasy or whatever. It's not the average male fantasy. He'd be talking about, oh, are you into multiple guys? That's not it. so, so, but hey,
It's
I
very
get it.
true. That is something
I
is
get
true.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. Especially,
Yeah,
so
I
then,
do have to explain it, a certain way.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, of course, because when you that's interesting. So you tell this guy, well, yeah, I'm into women, but no, I'm into multiple guys too. What is the general overall reaction? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, do most guys walk away, or they just like, okay, tell me more? What is the general reaction?
Yeah, I know that sounds weird. Everyone's gonna say I'm maybe not telling the truth. A lot of times, at that point when they approach me, they are interested to that degree. A lot of times they're like, okay, well, tell me more. Or I've had people say no, and they'll say, oh, well, we can be friends. I say, oh, okay. And I think a lot of times they
Yeah,
think friends for me because I'm poly. Once again, the misconception, it's sexual. So then I can then have sexual interaction with you, and so I clear that up. I'm very open up in front. I'll say, well, yeah, we can be friends, but I hope you don't think that means a sexual relationship.
right,
And
right,
so you got to think again. So I think it's just really intriguing. But yeah, most of the time they'll say, let's be friends, and I say, okay, cool, that's cool. You can talk to me. That's up to you. I guess I'm not really bothered. I mean, you shot your shot, and then you have to make the decision continue that interaction with me.
right, right,
So it's really
exactly.
about choices. I'm giving people the opportunity to say no. So yeah, but a lot of men who approach me, they already know, and they know what they're getting
Right.
into when they talk to me. But they'll want to know more information
Yeah. Wow.
most of the time.
It
That's the
does
time it's
not
like. There's still,
it does
I mean,
not
my
surprise me.
inbox is not dry, you know.
Don't
They're like,
surprise
what's
me.
going
But we
on?
got
I just
yeah,
tell
we
them.
got a yeah. Yeah. We got a special guest that's entered in bid, Mr. Darren Tate. I'm gonna go ahead and add him to the live. This is a good friend of mine. What's up, Darren? What's up,
Hey
D?
man, what's going on with you, Doc?
Not a whole lot, man. We've been on here chopping it up, man, having an interesting conversation. You know, this is MzPoly Polyright, and this is Darren Tate, Miss Polly.
Hello.
Hi, Tate.
Hey man,
Hello.
do you have any more volume on your end? I don't know if you're controlling the volume of the whole set because mine is all the way up and it's really low.
I don't know. Can you hear me better now?
I got
Nope.
mine all the way up.
Yeah, I turned myself up. I can
Hold
hear
on,
her.
let me
Can
see
you?
some.
Yeah, I can hear her just fine. But we on live too, bro. So, um, yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear him just fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's
can.
good. Yeah, yeah. But D, go ahead. Kind of introduce yourself to her a little bit if you don't mind.
Um, Not much to tell. My name is Darren, and I guess my age, I guess I'm 54. guess I'll share that. And I have a doctorate of divinity and theological studies. Got that back in
Mm-hmm.
'96. Currently, I work in the law and finance side of business. We do a lot of work with helping people that's maybe having some issues, and maybe they're about to lose their home. We stop foreclosures. We stop illegal child supports and whole list of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty good to be on this side, and glad to be here today.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, we've been talking a little bit about poly relationships and actually what it is and what it's not. More importantly, what it's not, because so many misconceptions are out there about it, and we've been talking about that a little bit. About, of course, this country is hypersexual right now. So as soon as you say poly, they automatically jump to that in their mind. We've been talking about that piece, so I'll let her kind of continue where she was, and then you'll see where we are, and then kind of chime in. You know, feel free to chime in. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah, I know we're just talking about in general poly, just
Mm-hmm.
like in general. How, yeah, I know sometimes that happens. In general, I think the black community, because we want to separate. There's a big difference between the black poly community and the white poly community. There is a
Okay.
big difference.
Interesting.
It's and I think I think that's the issue too. Because if you are only seeing poly misused and abused and not done correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you see it in a negative view. And a lot of times in the black poly world, we get mixed in with a whole bunch of other things. And
Right.
and not saying it doesn't happen in the white poly world. White poly world, they are very, very they look very similar and they hang out with a lot of lifestylers. So we're gonna get those
Mm-hmm.
words. Lifestylers are people, like I said, all that sexual things
Mm-hmm.
happens, and they like to have multiple partners, but it's really only a sexual connection. Like the people they hang out with, they're scheduled, they're
Mm-hmm.
not interacting long term. Like they're not asking like want to be married. They don't really care. Just want to know about the now and the sexual interaction.
Right.
And when you start kind of, if you feel like you're only accepted around and can be yourself around people who are okay with multiple relationships, you tend to hang out with lifestylers. So lifestyle and poly people tend to hang around each other a lot, but they're
Mm-hmm.
very I would talk to someone serious fashion who, because I'm not into those kind of connections.
Wow. Okay.
I wouldn't date them. But if I was from, of course, they understand my life. They're not going to judge me, so I can hang
Mm-hmm.
out with them.
Right.
And if I tell them something, they usually respect my boundaries. They have a lot of respect for boundaries. So
Okay.
if you say no, I'm not into that, it's usually a respectful thing, and they just kind of let you be. So like that's kind of like the white power, but the black see it as you explain poly to them, and it just they go real negative because they're probably thinking, I've seen this before. Like I've had a boyfriend and he goes out with three other girls and he's got children with three other women and they're not me, but he says he loves me and he's running from each house. And
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like what you're describing. That's what a lot of people say. And I'm
Right.
like,
That's
no,
not a
no,
poly.
no, no. And I had
That's
to
not a
explain, like,
poly relationship. Yeah.
that's yeah, that's breaking boundaries. Your boundary, right? If you don't like that you're next down the street and talking to Kim behind my back, sleeping with her and having kids, and you're not communicating anything with me, that that's hurtful. I don't like these things. You're not, why are you over there? You're not explaining yourself. You're cheating. You're just over there when I make you mad. Those are bad relationship situations. Those are not poly
Mm-hmm.
situations. And so since it looks similar in that community to them, they maybe
Mm-hmm.
seen a good example of someone who's black doing poly the correct way. They're straight to that. Oh, you're gonna let some guy get another girl? Well, I let my boyfriend. My boyfriend does that now. he's cheating, so you just get cheated on all day. And I'm like, no, or you can say, no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Yeah.
black people haven't seen a black poly relationship actually function well. The only
Mm-hmm.
ones they really see are usually in a religious fashion. A lot of people who say
Mm-hmm.
they are, uh, polygamous. They usually say, "Okay, I'm Muslim, so I have one wife, and I believe that." So that's the only kind of poly they'll see, and then they'll say, "Well, I don't want to be a wife of a man with 7 wives and have all these children, and you never see your husband, and you get a 1 day a week to have sex with him." That's not how poly
Wow.
has to look. That's an older, that's an older religious part of poly. So if that's not what you
Right.
want to live, most people who are
Right.
younger aren't living like that. They're not, they might have they might have 5 wives, they may, but they're not out here like trying
So,
to, they have a
right.
different plan.
Well, what it
You know,
sounds like to me is
yeah. Go
whether
ahead. I'm
you're in a
sorry. Take a
monogamous.
breath.
Yeah. Well, what it sounds like to me is whether you're in a monogamous relationship, poly relationship, or whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to honesty and communication and being open with one another and communicating with one another and setting boundaries. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in. If you're going to lie and cheat, you'll do that in a monogamous relationship, a poly relationship, whatever. You just going to be lying and cheating. That's what you do. So either way, either type of relationship, you got to decide whether or not you're gonna have some type of integrity, if you will, in that situation. You know, whether you're dealing with a man dealing with 2 women or whatever, everybody's got to be communicating, is what it sounds like to me, and honest about what each other's boundaries are, what you're willing to accept and not accept, and agree. And once you agree, everybody's expected to hold their end of
Yeah.
the bargain up about what we agreed upon. So that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. What's up,
I
D?
mean, yeah,
You
like
off the quiet over there,
that's
brother?
basically what it is. Like that's why I say, you know. Oh,
What you got to say, D? You off the quiet over there, brother?
I'm just listening. I had lost communication, so I kind of came in on the middle while she was speaking about the poly. So I'm
Yeah.
catching up.
Okay.
I'll let her go ahead. I'll catch up with you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, so that black community pop up a little bit different
yeah,
than
I'm about to ask about.
anywhere else because, like I said, the other times you'll hear stories like, oh, there was a whole neighborhood of swingers in these white neighborhoods, and y'all be like, really, they were doing that? So they're a little bit more open, and maybe they even quote unquote allowed the allowance to do things that are low key undercover. As long as you do your job, you can have sex parties. I mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
not unaware of hearing like Caucasian places do those things. It's just
Mm-hmm.
if you don't hear, but you never hear like a black community say, "Oh yeah, we're just having these parties and sex parties every weekend." You don't hear that,
Well,
and it's very
you
very
don't hear
taboo. Like I
about
said,
it, but
it's not something we want
well,
to do. But in the
you
same
don't hear
breath,
about it.
you're
Yeah.
okay with you don't hear about it, and
Yeah.
but they
I
do
do.
exist. That's why I say it's
Yeah,
another world.
I
They
do.
do exist. They do
I mean,
exist.
I
There are there
man,
are
you
clubs. There are there are clubs that are black, just full black on clubs that are just for swingers, things like that. They just go to a
yeah,
location. Um,
yeah.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it, it's just it's just a little different. So I said there's different communities, but when you're just talking anonymous and it's saying it's a bad thing to be poly, um, it just starts
Mm-hmm.
off as a bad conversation because they've never seen a good representation of it
Right.
working. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. They haven't seen a good representation of it working, and a lot of people hide. There's a lot of people who hide. That doesn't matter if
Mm-hmm.
black or white, but there's a lot of people who hide. But I think there's more of a don't do that community. Even actually
Mm-hmm.
doing it already, they're just doing it incorrectly.
Yeah.
They're doing it like we call it
Yeah.
non-ethical monogamy. That's basically you cheating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's but you've heard women say, "I know my boyfriend has another girl." They'll tell you their name. They'll tell you all this stuff about this other partner,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Oh, he goes over there. I know where he goes." if you know all this and you just get mad every time he comes back home, though, or treat him bad when he gets home, but you already know, why are we continuing the cycle of the foolishness? And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people, like you said, that gentleman you met, there's another black gentleman who had the same kind of thing. He had a wife and a girlfriend for like years. And he ended up, his wife, she went and told the lady, she said, why are we having this fight over the same situation? He clearly loves both of us. Maybe we can figure out something that, and now they're together. And they've been together for quite a bit. So they all kind of live together. And like I said, he has an older child with the one he's with the longest. He's married to, and then the younger lady that he's with, he just had a baby with him probably a couple years ago. They made
Well,
it work, and they started saying, okay, we're poly and this is how it should look. Because he wasn't
yeah.
really knocking down everyone. It was just he really liked this other woman. Yeah.
Well,
So it's
I
interesting.
yeah. I
Because it's
know
just
where I am.
interesting. It looks different.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know where I am. There's a community here, and it's hidden. Where they try to stay hidden, but I know about several groups and all this stuff. They out there. Unfortunately, I had a bad experience with something like that with someone that I was actually with that ended up going that route. They, but that's neither here nor there. But the problem comes in like the honesty. If that's what you want to do, just say that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? If you want to be a swinger, say that's what you want to do. If you want to live a poly life, say that. Just be open with it. Whatever it is that you want to do and identify as, just be open about it and honest about it. I don't care what you do. But people are so concerned about judgment, really, so they're not open. But that causes more harm than than good, in my opinion. It's best to be open about what type of lifestyle you want to live. Give that other person a choice to what they want to do. So
Right.
less heartbreak probably happen.
I do. I do think that. Like, that's the biggest thing here. It's like
Maybe still gonna have lives
being
though.
able to someone say, I think if we all live by that, everybody, like, everyone would be happier. You gave others the opportunity to say, no, I don't want that. Giving them the option to say no. And if they say no, respect you know, them saying no, and then go on. That's all you got
Well,
to do. If they don't like something you don't like, say no. It's okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's always another variable
It's okay.
because this is what people do. Oh yeah, okay, I respect that, and yeah, I'm into that, just so they can get into whatever situation they want to be in because they want to experience a certain thing, and then once they get into it, all of a sudden they want to change the rules or something like that, or don't remember what they said, or I mean, I can imagine just certain emotions come into play that they didn't count on coming into play, and things like that. So I mean, boy, that can be a time bomb if you ain't careful. You're dealing with the wrong people, for sure, for sure. So, hmm.
Well, I'll say this, and
Yeah, no,
I come from
I do understand that. Yeah.
I'll come from two different perspectives, from a biblical perspective and of course today's society. You know, we go back from a biblical perspective. We get it. There was a lot of characters in the Bible had wives, had several wives, and there are laws even today in the Eastern culture that actually says that a man can take upon himself more than one wife as long as he can afford it. And that was coming from the platform of provision, and because those women are still expected to be able to be what they were meant to be, which
Mm-hmm.
were at the house, raising the children, and taking care of the family while the husband brought in the provision.
Mm-hmm.
So the house should not suffer, or even the wives, that's plural, should not suffer because of his inability to provide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when that particular relationship would be considered out of order. when it pertains to poly. Now, in today's society, and this is just be my humble opinion, it is not facts.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to preface my comment with that. I just believe that most men, particularly in the Western culture, aren't able to sustain a proper poly relationship when we're only making $42,000 a year.
True.
So I don't, outside of that, I don't see how poly relationships can actually work unless we put those wives back in the position that they're not originally supposed to be in the first place, which is out
Mm-hmm.
in the marketplace and away from the home and doing all these other things that they shouldn't be doing. They should be at the house, taking care of the house, while the man is out providing for his wives. And most
Mm.
men can't do that with one. And when you want two and three, I don't know. I'm not saying, that it's a sinful thing. I'm just saying based off of the original
Yeah.
laws
Yeah.
concerning taking care of the wives. We can just start with wife, taking care of
Yeah.
the wife.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most men, and I don't like to really generalize and say the word most, but when we're basing it off of what the facts are concerning
Mm-hmm.
the average man only makes $42,000 a year, we can clearly say most men cannot be in poly relationships.
Not in the manner that you. Okay. First of all, okay, we gonna deal with some time periods here. All right, now, if you talking about this modern time period, first of all, the men in this time period don't even think like that. Like, I'm the man. I'm gonna take care of this house. I'm gonna pay the mortgage, the lights, whatever it is that's pertaining to this house. I'm gonna do that. I'm the man. My wife don't have to work if she don't want to. Blah 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 blah. That's not today's guy. That's a throwback. You know what I mean? But I happen to subscribe to that theory. You know what I mean? Because that's the type of guy I am. I want to be the king of my house. So, that's what I subscribe to. This 50-50, baby, you got to pay half. And that's what they own. A lot of men are on now. I ain't paying everything. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. I ain't no, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when you start breaking down these different categories of guys and their principles and what they believe, then you start injecting a lot of stuff in there. And then you put poly on top of that. Like you said, with 42,000 a year, it just depends on those people. They may accept that. Money may not be the most important thing to them. It may be loyalty, honesty, culture, peace,
I
serenity. It may be
think,
some other things. So
yeah.
go ahead. I hear you. Go ahead. You're about to say something?
And that's why I think it's coming up. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say that's why I think it's really transitioning into that. And I'm so glad you said that. Is it Damien? I'm sorry. Or Darren. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Darren, yeah, I think you are right. This is where the new age is changing it, that poly is starting to be more prevalent. And I believe that since women are starting to come and be people who are making more money than, let's just say, in general, gentlemen, to some degree, not all men, but a lot of times they're coming into a lot more money faster. Let's just say that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they're doing. When they're doing this, and they're, even if they're saying, "Oh, I want a man to take care of me, but I'll bring my own money to the table." If you're in a poly relationship, now you take that money away from a man. And I know that sounds crazy, like, "Oh, yeah, how can I take? Can't take care of these women." You're right. In a poly sense, they're not at that level. But if you say, "Money knows the reason I want to be with you," what else can you bring to the table as a man? And a lot of people ask me, and I tell people I date, I I'm not that concerned about money to that degree that I'm gonna die, okay? Because I can buy things myself if I really need them, or whatever. Okay, that's just if you're gonna say that, then what as a man can you bring to the table? It kind of changed your mindset to say, okay, I'm more than bringing in this money. What else can I give as a person? I'm not saying you got to do crazy stuff. What can I give as a person? Because in the same breath, the same men who are out here saying, money and unattainable to take care of as many women. What if I said, okay, bring your 40,000, but I would like you to also, do something you enjoy, bring happiness, something else positive, be my partner to the gym. Do, I don't know, something. Let's get down to do what I like you as a person. I think it starts getting more mental. It's like, okay, I want more than just this cash you're bringing in. And a lot of women aren't like that days, and I will be honest. You see all these Instagram stuff, and those particular women do want money. They do want money. They want someone to take care of them, and they're looking a particular way. They're saying if you want a woman like this, this much money to the table. We're not talking about those ladies. We're
All
talking
right.
about these, right? I think everyone's talking
Tell
about
your
these
story. Right.
these
Tell your
women
story.
who
True story.
were
I want to stop you. It's a true story. I want to tell you this story real quick. True story. I was talking to this lady. I mean, dime,
career.
10, just dime, just 10. We talking. Well, I found out she's dating this other guy, right? And they've been in a relationship, engaged or whatever they do, and something happened and they broke up and blah 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 blah. Well, she wants to talk to me, but nurse that situation because he helping her financially. You see what I mean? Then you come later, fast forward later on down the road, you decide to get back with this guy. And then you say, well, I know what he's bringing to the table, but I don't know you that well. So you decide to go with the guy that you know about the money and the table and the trips to here and there and all that stuff. You get cheated on. You find out you're being cheated on. You find out all this stuff that's happening to you. Now you upset. You all on the internet. You everywhere blasting me and talking about blah, blah, blah. But you had a choice. You said, I know him, but I don't know you. You chose that. But you're going to blame every man in the USA now for what you chose. And you chose that. For the money, the stability, or whatever you thought you had. And I see a lot of that.
Right.
This is just people in
And I
monogamous
think that's fine.
relationships. It is what it is. That's what happens out
That's
here.
true. I mean, they say men like vision, right? They say men like visuals of women looking attractive and younger and that, but women do the same thing. I mean, I'm not putting women down, or I'm just saying they see money and trips and being taken care of, and that's what they were told that you should look for. So then they'll put their own emotional needs or their own feelings aside and just go for that. And I think that's cool for short term, but does that last?
Yeah.
And with that particular person that you're after, do they want you the same way? Because I'm sure he's like, oh, I want her because she looked good or whatever. But after as long as I give her money, I can do what I want. She'll forgive me and stay. She'll talk all her crap, but she's gonna stay. I still get what I want. Who cares? So in a way, I think that's settling for stuff you don't really want. And I think
Well,
probably in a way, I even ask people, my partners who are transitional partners, that means they were monogamous, they were never poly, and they with me it was poly now. I said, it didn't feel easy to say no now? And they're like, yeah, it's different because you don't have to feel the stress of, oh, I'm missing out on something, and is there someone else, or maybe I'll just hold on to them as a placeholder until I find someone else, and then I'll go marry them because I can only marry one person, or I can only be one person. When you take all that crap away, do you want to be
yeah.
here because you want to be here with me or not? Because you don't have to
Wow.
be. I think it changes
So,
that mindset a little bit. It does change it because you can say no. Now that girl who comes up to you and she may have some stuff you like, if you're like, but I don't like the fact that she runs the streets, you can say, hey, no, I'll pass, but I appreciate that. You can go on. It's easy to say no. It really is.
yeah. Yeah.
I can say no. I can say, okay, I'm cool. That's why I said that sexual energy that some men come to the table with for me is funny because isn't that, I'll give you this great evening, or I'll give you the greatest, and I'm just looking like, well, I already have that. So what else can you give? Oh, well, I'll take you out on these dinner. Okay, well, I don't really care about what else can you give. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I'm kind of cutting, throwing away all the BS that's material and stuff. I don't need that. So tell me what else you can give. And if it's like, hey, I
Yeah.
have great
Yeah.
conversation. You like conversation? I do. I like an educated gentleman. Can you teach me something? Shoot, I want to be there. Can I support you in something that you like to do? Can I be your
Right.
cheerleader to that? That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm finding more of a mental connection, it works better
Yeah.
for the long term, at
It's
least.
well, I'll say this: it's
Yeah,
sad that you have to go to a poly type relationship to get a mental connection. You shouldn't have to. I don't think you should have to do that. If I'm vibing with a female, geez, I don't want to have to be in a poly
you
relationship,
don't
baby,
have
for
to.
us to be able to vibe. Now, come on, let's do this. Let's come on now.
I
What?
was about to I was about to say something similar.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
man.
we're just so as
That
a
is
culture,
funny.
but since we're talking about, huh? As a culture, I just think the culture itself
No, I said that's so
is,
funny. Yeah, go ahead.
is just the culture itself is just undisciplined. You got a lot of undisciplined men. I,
Yeah.
I I'm gonna be honest
Overall.
with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just from if we're gonna have a now, I come from a biblical perspective. That's just my background. That's who I am.
That's what we
But
both are.
the Bible says spirit, soul, and body.
Hmm.
Most of the times, our connections is just body. I believe wholeheartedly there's a reason why there was an order that was said in the Bible:
Hmm.
spirit, soul, and then body.
Hmm.
I'm not going to start teaching along those lines, but if I'm going to have a true connection, with a woman, it's consuming. And
Hmm.
honestly, I can't even imagine trying to take care of two, three different women, whether I'm cheating or whether it's poly, and it's allowed to have to deal with two women. And I'm at the same time. It's just I'm
You
good on
got in
that,
trouble dealing with one, don't you, bro?
man.
Ooh.
And the Bible is very even clear on that. How
I mean, that's
dealing with
true.
one contentious woman, it's better to dwell in the wilderness. I mean, he was so convicted about that particular feeling of dealing with a contentious woman that he repeated himself and said, it's even better to dwell on the corner of a rooftop, with a woman.
Get away from
I
her.
mean,
Huh?
than dealing with a woman, man, contentious woman, not a woman, but a contentious woman, a
Well, it
woman
depends.
who is
Yeah.
undisciplined. She
Yeah.
got, these mouths, all these hormonal issues you got to deal with,
Contentious.
and
I
the
know that
past.
very well.
Man, I'm good. Because you spend a lifetime trying to take care of one.
Well, I mean that contentious thing too, man. Think about what you said. Every time I say something, you contended with
I,
me.
and I,
Uh,
I'm
go,
good.
go, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Go ahead, Miss Polly.
no,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that. It remember that we want to put this out there. Red flag on the field here. It's not for everyone, and I'm not saying okay. I don't monogamy
Blow the
isn't working
whistle.
for me. Let me hop in the pilot. I don't think
Man,
you should
too
actually
short.
do that. I think it's a really bad idea. I think that if okay for people like are you always searching for new people? I'm not. I'm actually rarely ever searching for anyone. But let's say that just for a monogamous reason, this monogamous, and I'm with someone, I've been with them for years, and then I go start a new job and I meet someone and they're like really, they're cool and we get along very well. It's just that I have the opportunity to continue to get to know them more. And if it
Mm-hmm.
turns something more than just friendship, it doesn't mean I'm like, oh, you want that one, that one. Like, that's no, that is not how it's going. I mean, that's just not how
Yeah.
it works. But if you're out there, you want to find two women, you're literally seeking two women. That takes time. Everybody in poly world knows that you can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna run out and get them." That it always fails. It's a fail.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
never want to do that. It's just not a good idea. Someone you guys made a great connection, like you said, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
spiritually are to them naturally, and then on top of that, maybe your minds link up. I mean, it's basically if you're monogamy, the way you should really meet people. And if you're really with a woman, you should be with you. It shouldn't be a struggle to be with someone. Not to that extent. I mean, I can understand you work on things, bumps come to roll, but if you are battling with someone to be with them, oh, you gotta leave them alone.
Yeah.
I never heard relationship is supposed to be in all the time. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I like my
contention all
peace.
the time. I
I
mean,
don't think that should how it work.
yeah, you start getting into all sort of things. Why the contention is there and all that. That's another show. But I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. I'm gonna put this flyer up here for a second. I want you guys to see it. I don't know if you can see it. This is the King's Table
Yeah.
901 and World Media Coalition presents the Black After Rooftop Party, December 23rd. Location: Nos Aires Bar Rooftop of Baja Flats, which is Baja Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. This is going to be in Brazil. It's going to be from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. I'm making this announcement because this goes a lot of places. But anyway, um, we're going to be crowning the queen, and she's going to be picking her court at the party that night. So we're gonna be actually filming this. My guy DJ Amar Mansour here. We're actually doing some records together, actually, D. So this artist on here, Afroya, I'm doing some work with her, and a couple more artists there also in Brazil. But this party though is going to be the first one of many. We're actually going to take these women, the queen and the court, and we're going to start looking for sponsors and things like that, because we're going to, do more parties, and they'll make appearances, and it's actually a way for them to actually make money actually in Brazil and give them work. Believe it or not, people think it's just about the parties and the this and that. No, these women are getting work that they wouldn't normally get over there, and believe me, they need it. And it's allowing the King's Table to be able to show the culture in Brazil that hey, look, these are black people. My guy Mar Mansour here, he's from Brooklyn. He's been in Bahia, for 14 years. 14 years. So, Froya, she's Afro-Brazilian. I should say that's the correct term, Afro-Brazilian. She's an artist there. She's black, basically. They speak Portuguese there, but the purpose of the King's Table too is to try to bridge some of these gaps. We're planning on taking a group of men over there next year. Which next year is right around the corner. So we're getting some stuff together to get ready to take a group of men to Brazil. We got culture tours lined up, things like that. We're going to actually go to the islands and things like that, let you see the food and tour some of the spots there. No, this is not a whoremongering trip, so get that out your mind. If you're going over just to be whoremonger, then you may want to take a trip. But this right here going to be all round trip, for you to actually take some things in, investing, things like that of that nature. And Ms. Poly, what you think about that? Because you talk about some cultural things also, right? Bridging gaps in that sense.
I do, not often, but I try to. So yeah, because I do go to school for international studies. East Asia is my specialty. So like
Okay.
just different cultures in different areas. For me, I think
Okay.
like anybody should really get educated
Yeah.
on other cultures and how they live. And I think that just for me makes sense. How do you know you like something, or you don't like something unless you get to know about it, right? And then even if
Right.
you are strong in what you believe, if you're gonna sit here and battle with someone else why they're wrong, you need to know their side. That's just a well paired
Yeah.
person. You got to be prepared
Mm-hmm.
by knowing the other side. You gotta know what they're going to bring to you if you're going to stand in your truth. So you need to know both sides. So if you need to know,
Yeah.
hey, this other culture's this way, well, why are they that way? Or why are they that way? Then you find that out, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I have a lot of things that I do personally that I see that are really moved towards East Asia. Like I really don't like looking people directly in the eye. In America, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to. But for me, it's really personal. For some reason,
Right.
I feel like I can look at you for a second, but it's not full on. And that's just like little things like that. And I'm like, well, why do they do that? And it's more personal to them to do that. Or you feel
Yeah.
very comfortable with that person. It's not even about who's better than who. It's just like I feel I'm gonna look you in your eyes. I feel that way. I feel like it's very personal. So that's just
Yeah.
me. Like those are little things that you can find out about different places or
Yeah.
why they act the way they act. You never
Well,
know.
well, I hear in Brazil. Now I don't know how true. I've never been there, but this is what I've heard on another blogger. You can be standing in a club somewhere, and a woman she'll just come up and kiss you in the mouth, and then leave. Or talk to you for a minute and then leave, and you think she really feeling you, but no, she just want to she just want to kiss you. And it's just their culture. I mean, culture is something that's a whole nother topic. All
Yes.
this TV watching and all this stuff. If you've never been out of this country and actually been to a place, then you really can't. You can comment on it a little bit, but if you know someone or something, or do some documentary or something like I'm doing, but you really need to go to that place. Like I've been to Dominican Republic. I used to go all the time. I mean, so I can tell you
Yes.
firsthand what I saw. Not what I heard, not what your cousin told you when he came back from the trip and lied or none. I don't get into all that stuff. I'm talking about what I experienced when I was over there. I learned to speak Spanish. Some things I would do when I went over there, I wouldn't do again. It's just what it is. You have to go. You have to go. Seriously, you have to
Right.
go. So I mean, Thailand, Colombia,
Experience it.
Argentina, Venezuela, all these different countries that I'm seeing black men in now, they're getting passports. Shout out to Passport Bros, Checks in Effect, Ace Live, Zoom to Thailand. All these guys I watch, our Black Man
Right.
Television, Black Man's TV, Kings and Dreams. All these guys, they out here reporting on things. Kevin Samuel was caught a lot of flack. He was kind of like one of those pioneers to just voice his opinion. Not that I agree with everything he said. I'm just saying he was voicing his opinion, and it's a lot of black men now that are starting to voice their opinion. They call it freedom. They're free. They can get a passport and go to another country or whatever that freedom feels like to them. That's on them. But I wouldn't recommend doing certain things. But I'm just saying. But the point is, black men in general, there's a movement right now of black men who are actually exiting the country and going to date, hormone, whatever they're going to do, they are going to do it. They are leaving for whatever reason. Have you seen anything on that, Miss Polly or D?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like you said, it's almost like a movement,
I
and
have.
it's not
So I have
even
been on Kings and
it's not
Dreams.
even
Yeah.
it's not even
It
ethnic
is. Oh yeah, I
specific.
like it.
It's
Yeah.
not even ethnic specific. You got a lot of men from the Western culture they're going abroad because we understand, the dynamics here,
Mm-hmm.
in the States is in the homes is far different from the dynamic in homes, in other cultures, which makes it really easy, for men like us, to go, and not only are we greatly appreciated, but the women are there. They desire from little girls and have been raised and trained to be wives. Like here, we just have women that want to be married, but they really don't understand, what that
Right.
truly and really means. So it makes it very difficult because, and I'll go back to using that word, like you just said,
Mm-hmm.
contentious, always contending, always it's bumping chests, and as you can see, we've gotten quiet. We're not even
Mm-hmm.
having the platforms that we used to have with men and women and trying to share and talk. Man, the women and the dudes are getting passports and they are leaving.
Leaving. Period. Period. Period, man. And then you got these guys, fly tie, man. These guys, they out on the grounds, bro. They out on the ground with cameras blogging. I hate to say it like that, and they bring it right there to your front door. And what you think gonna happen? They out in this guy's in Colombia somewhere, and he's talking about how great he's being treated, And a lot of that, you got simps out here. You got people, you got all kinds. I ain't saying those vloggers are doing it. I'm just saying that you got different men that travel for different reasons, is what I'm saying. But most of the guys I watch, they bring a lot of educational pieces.
Yeah.
My guy Ace Live, man, he's in Haiti on the ground, giving you culture, letting you see the food. I mean, bringing it right there. He's not in clubs all the time. He's in huts and on the ground and alleys and all this different stuff, man. Bringing, stuff live to you. You're like, wow, I didn't know that it existed. So it's fascinating to me to know that what I've been watching on television has been basically a lie. So I'd rather go, And then from a black, now here's the question, Ms. Polly. This is what I want to ask you. From a black woman's perspective, when you see this, do you think black women need to get alert, kind of wake up about this and see what's happening, or what you think the future looks like the next 5-10 years on this? I think it might be a delay.
Okay, so with the international thing here, I'll be honest. I do think that a lot of men, all of them, maybe range. I'm not really giving out a specific area, but there are women who are in some delusional states of. And I don't mean like they don't think they're good enough. I think they're in a state of they can, treat men any kind of way, like they're not people. And I do disagree with that. And some are living in an idea that, that whatever's wrong with them, it doesn't qualify as an issue when it comes to men. I think there are going to be a lot of men who are going to bring people over from out or across the country outside their culture. Like you said, for those basic principles of, hey, nothing doesn't work. A lot of men like go backwards, and not as a bad way, but let's go back to when I thought it was working in a more traditional fashion.
Right.
Well, and so they are kind of reverting back to that situation. That's where all the red pill guys are. The red pill guys are really trying to go back in time to, get the women that they think that they need. And they say, well, what's the issue with all these other women? Let's go back to what it was before and it'll make it better. And I mean, it would make sense if we were back then, but we're not. These women are different. The society's different. The culture is different. So we have to progress, but then also check people, check women. Sometimes they do need to be chin checked. All these women out here who haven't worked and did all this crazy crap, and then they want a man who basically based his whole life on working and all this and calling him names and all. They just get kind of crazy. If you hear, like, say, Kevin Samuels, I've seen some of his videos. Some women just sound ridiculous. Like, they sound ridiculous. Their requirements for a man, but then don't want anyone to look at their issues or their downfalls, especially if you're in your 30s. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
You're going to really say you're fake? That's kind of weird.
Let me say this. It was something that you said. For a man to be perfect. Yeah, it was something that you said I want to address too, though. You were saying they may go and bring somebody back over here. The consensus is now that no, the men are getting to the point to where they are actually leaving here and they want to go abroad. They're not bringing anyone. Most of them, they're not bringing anyone back here because once they figure that once those women hit American soil, this is poison here. This is toxic. They don't want the women that they meet or whoever that they meet to come here and pick up the attitude here. So no, they're not there. Oh, they just want a visa. No. These women don't even want to come here. The guys don't even want them to come here. They stand wherever they are and whatever tiki or hut or whatever they decide to be in, that's where they gonna be at and have some peace. That's what the guy's saying anyway. I'm just, kind of speaking on what I'm hearing, but
plan. I like
seriously.
The plan
and
sounds
then secondly,
good.
I don't want
It does. It
I
does,
wanna make
because
it
you
seem
come here and they're going to see all the stuff. They're going to want it.
Yeah. And then women got some legitimate complaints also here. Our black women, they suffered a lot. They got some legitimate complaints. But the problem is okay, when do we stop complaining and fix it? The pointing of the fingers and all, you point a finger at me, I'm pointing a finger at you. We ain't gonna never get nowhere. So, okay, time's short. I ain't got time to even point fingers at you no more. I ain't gonna say nothing to you. I'm gonna get my passport. I'm gonna jump on a plane.
Well, Sharon, I actually don't think they have legitimate.
Go ahead.
Right.
That's what the men saying.
Have, like, some women are Yeah, but there are some women who are letting their mothers
Mm-hmm.
comments about their dads or whatever past happened to them, their family members in the past, stop them from being the best person they are. So you're saying, oh, I already seen somebody cheat. I saw my dad. Oh, I saw my uncle do this. I saw somebody do this to my auntie. And then when you meet a man, you automatically tell him, oh, he's a dirty dog or he ain't making enough. You haven't given him an opportunity to do anything yet. There's a lot of men who are, like you said, we're in a different environment now, money wise. You meet somebody who's 20 and he's telling you, hey, he's 22. He's like, listen, I just started this business. It's doing okay. I make 40,000. You're going to tell that man that he's a piece of crap? Why don't you sit in there and grind with him, go through the process, which makes you closer, and then be able to build together? That makes sense. You're going to call him a bum and all this, but then there's a first chance. Not every woman does, but a lot of times you'll give yourself to these other men who are garbage and then try to get a that same man 10 years later, like you just said. Why? It doesn't make sense.
Well, and then let me be fair to the women too, because I mean,
it's a little weird.
I can only speak from African American, my standpoint, and what I've experienced and what I've seen. A lot of us, African American men, it's just about to take us to 40 just to even figure it out. You know what I mean? Just to figure it all out, put it all together, put this piece together, that piece together, this piece of the puzzle, that piece of the puzzle, bring it all together, make it make sense. Okay, now we know what we want to do. Well, we're 45 now. You know what I mean? It's just behind the curve in so many different ways that is almost insurmountable. And the only way we're going to overcome that is to work together. Otherwise, we're going to get what we're going to get. You know what I mean? The black women going to be complaining about the men ain't where they supposed to be. Black women going to be pointing fingers, complaining that the women ain't doing right. They going to shoot out to Thailand or wherever they going to get whatever they going, how they want to feel. They saying, well, if I'm going to spend my money anyway, I may as well get what I want. I ain't going to be happy no way, so let me get this. I mean, I don't agree with all the theories. I'm just saying that that's where we are right now, Darren. That's where we are.
That's true.
And it's a harsh reality, but that's where it is. If I'm going to take care of my house, anyway, I'm a man, I'm out here grinding, I'm podcasting, I'm got businesses, non-profit, all this stuff, I'm working, and I'm going to take care of my house. The last thing I want to come home to is contention.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm gonna take care of a woman anyway, and I may as well go over here and get, whoever. I ain't gonna say no name, cause I'm just saying that's how guys feeling, and that's what they're doing with no problems. They spending half the money, go over there and spend $3 on the dinner instead of this $150 and $200. Now that's what's real. Now I'm talking about what's real. Now they going over to spend $3. $10, man. You spend $50. You on a boat on an island going across, the way, taking pictures. Over here, you spend $200, and that's the best you can do. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So all these things are coming into play. Education is coming into play. The educated guys or the high dollar guys, they demand more. They like, look, we're not gonna settle for this no more. It's crazy. It's just, I see it all over the place, So then, what do you do? Go into
now, I have a question because I've talked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do have a question because you gentlemen are a little older, and a lot of times I talk to maybe
that.
early 30-year-olds or.
I'm 47. I resent that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Go ahead.
That's still, you're not 30. You're not, you're not a 28-year-old. This actually fine for you when you're out. If you are out there, if you're not, I'm not sure. But if you're in a dating with older women, about older men dating, you feel the same energy from a 40, then like this 30-year-old woman, like there has something changed with 40-year-olds right now currently in the dating realm.
Well, I'll let D answer this too, but me, every 10 years is a change. Me, 50, 40, 30, 20, every 10 years, there's a whole complete different mindset. I can't get with none of it. 40 and up for me. 30 and below, aliens. To me, mentally, I can't get on the same wavelength as them mentally, how they think.
aliens.
Not that there's something wrong with them. They just grew up. I'm a 70s, but I grew up in 75, so I caught this period of this old school age. And then all of a sudden, cell phone beepers, cell phones, computers, and all this stuff came out. So I'm like a hybrid. I'm this generation and that generation. So it's like, okay. I think sometimes that kind of poses a little problem for me. But what you think, D?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I agree with what you say, but then you ever met somebody and male or female, and they have what we call an old spirit,
Yeah, you got some exceptions. Yeah.
So there's some exceptions to the rule. It don't change the facts that there definitely is a big mental gap between us older guys, and when you start getting in the late 20s with females in the late 20s and early 30s, it's unless you come across that one. Like I met a young lady. She would fit the bill of what I'm saying. She had like an old spirit. She just got it, and she was cool, man. I enjoyed. We had fun, and she was cool. Only thing with her is that her personal life was out of control, and she was trying to come to me for me to save it, not necessarily from just strictly a financial standpoint. But like I was telling her, I know I'm good for you. And me and you and I, brother, we can tell pretty much any woman that I know I'm good for you, but I need to see, are you good for me? Because I matter too. What I need and what I desire, I matter. So it ain't one-sided. So I don't allow that youthfulness that they have, them nice little tight bodies manipulate me into getting in a situation that's not good for me.
Now, the brother. Now, I can almost know where MzPoly gonna go this from past conversations what we just had. Now, your desires, what you like, what your boundaries are. Now you saying you start some fighting words right there. Now, when you start talking about, baby, now what about my how I feel now?
Yeah,
you supposed to be you ain't supposed to have no feelings. You supposed to be a stone man, no feelings. No heart, no desires. You supposed get up that hill, boy. You supposed to work. You supposed to be that mule. That's all you supposed to be. Now the mule can't turn around and say, "But damn, you gonna give me some water?"
Right.
You ain't even want to give me no damn water. I can't, cause you ain't want to give me no water, baby. All I ask you was for a piece of bread so I can keep working. Give me some strength. You can't do that, baby.
Let me give you this example. Let me get before she come on. Let me give you this example real quick. Check this out. This is real life. This is a young lady that I dated, man. And I tell you, man, I really wanted to have a permanent relationship with this young lady, and I was trying to, kind of get her up to speed. Like, come on, baby. And I led by example. But I remember I was coming. You know how us real brothers do, man. I passed her car. I looked at her car because I was going up to her apartment, and I noticed that one of her tires were bad because you could see the wire on the tires. So I got upstairs, I greeted her and everything, and I said, "Hey, your tires on your car are bad. I see the wires. Is your car shaking?" "Yeah, I was wondering what my car was doing." She ain't never said nothing. I was wondering why my car was shaking so bad. I said, "Yeah, we got to get some new tires on your car." I said, "So tomorrow, will you, on your break?" Because she used to work a split shift. So there was about 3 to 4 hours when she got off in the morning and would go back in the afternoon. So I said, "We're going to go." I made an appointment to take the car to one of the places where I get my cars, my car service and my tires. So I went, I bought brand new tires, put on her car, had them to give her an alignment.
Look at
Why they
God.
did that? I said, "Come on, let's go get some breakfast." So I took her to go eat breakfast, so we wouldn't be just sitting there. Had
Look
a
at
great
God.
conversation. Time came back. The car was ready. You know, it was almost $350, and with no problem. I don't even drive the car. I just want her to be, her and her two children to
Be
be
safe.
safe when I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? So now here come the weekend. I have been hustling, working. Man, I was tired. I asked her to rub my back. That little joker said, "I don't feel like it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like it."
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Well,
"Man,
well,
I didn't."
well, well,
Hey,
eh,
they don't get it, man.
they don't.
And
They don't.
I just later on I can tell you a bunch of situations, but later on I just patted her on the
That's the
shoulder.
part too. That's the part too.
I just
But
said, "Hey, listen, yeah, that's the part too."
let me be fair now. Let me be fair now. Cause I believe in fairness and balance. I am a believer, you dig. So
Oh, I know
yeah,
she done dealt with.
I done been a knucklehead too. Now I done made some decisions. Boy, you ever cast something out, boy, you wish you could have it back. Ooh, I wish I could have pulled that joker back, man. I couldn't pull it back fast enough. You know what I mean? It was too late to apologize. You feel me? So, man, I wish I can have it back, bro, but I can't get it back. But
Yeah,
you have to grow as men too. We done made some bad decisions, man. We done hurt.
absolutely, man.
We
I
have
am
hurt
no way.
the black women. We done
Oh,
hurt
I
them too,
mean,
man.
that was nice. Those weren't bad decisions, guys. I mean, those. I don't think those
Well,
are
no,
bad
no, no,
decisions.
no.
That's
I
just
ain't talking
people who just
about.
don't appreciate you. That's
No, no,
horrible. I
no,
mean,
no.
I
I
ain't
ain't
gonna lie
talking
to you, it's
about the. I
horrible.
ain't talking about the good feel story. I'm talking about you flat out dead wrong. I ain't talking about the ones where you just, you done been the good Samaritan. No, I'm talking about the dead wrong. You just did. You just flat out dead wrong. I done been there and done that. See, I ain't on here like
That
I'm a
is
realist. I done
wild.
been dead wrong before. So I ain't there now. I'm just saying.
You
But
know, and we
it's
bring
some
this up,
black women
Sherrod.
that done been through that though. Mm. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say so a lot of times because people ask me because I have two. I've had three partners. I usually have three, but I have two male partners, whatever. And like I think it's I don't know. I find it hard to be kind. I don't understand. Like, why would I be with someone if I don't have the intention of their well being good? Like, I want to make sure they're happy, they're enjoying themselves. Like, maybe a little too much. I even have to go back a little bit and say, pause. You're doing too much. Let them have this. I just I can over help be over helpful, and that's what I usually I get told I'm over helpful and I'm taking away people being able to um, continue to be manly because I'm just overly trying to help and give in to to others. But that's just me as a person. So yeah, I like to I don't know. Like, shoot, I saw. Let's just give an example. Like, I saw, obviously, your feet, and you're not taking your feet because you're working a lot. Shoot, okay. Like, one day I'm gonna be like, hey, you just sitting there. Maybe you're watching TV, you're playing the game or something. Like, I'll be like, hey, I got you. You keep doing what you're gonna do. I'm gonna do your feet. Why not? I don't get
Why not?
why not.
Why not?
Don't you want them to be healthy and nice and happy? I don't get it. Why? Why is it hard for you to do kind things to people you care about? If
Well,
it's hard for
see,
you to do kind about the
yeah,
people you care about, you shouldn't be
yeah.
with nobody.
Well, it's
That don't
culture
make
too.
sense.
You got to realize the culture too. When I was growing up, when you had this culture of, I ain't bees ain't but tricks. You know what I mean? You don't give them no money now. That kind of thing. You don't take care of no woman now. You don't trust that. We don't love these. And we've been brought up like this. We don't love these. You feel me? So that's how you
Okay.
grow up with that mentality in the back of your mind. As a black man, and you get up and you grown, and now you got to wine and dine now. Now am I gonna trick? Am I gonna simp? Is it no man? You just being a gentleman. It's a woman. She's a beautiful queen. God is take her out, show her a good time. You that cheap, brother? You know what I mean? You buying wine by the glass. You can't buy the bottle. What's up, bro? You know what I mean? But you want her to do everything you want her to do though now. But you cheat. You selfish. you're not a gentleman, all these things. But I'm just saying, you can go on and on, but we were brought up a certain way too. Some of it is cultural,
That's on both
learn
sides.
behavior, and you got to reverse that, to start looking at black women. To me, black women as a
Yeah,
whole, as
yeah, that's true.
beautiful women and beautiful people as a whole.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah. Anyway, we can go on and on with this. We gonna have to have a part 3 or something because
right.
we
And
done
like you
been
said,
past
like there's
part
certain
2.
things like we have issues within our own community as people. So it's oh, okay.
No, you good. Hey, there's a slight delay, so I knew you were gonna catch up. But
Yeah, I
no,
definitely think we just have issues as cultural differences, and then it gets kind of different.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, Miss Polly
Were you saying something,
Polyright.
Tara?
Well, I think it's a little delay, but it's all good. But I was just saying, we're gonna have to have another series of this because we didn't get it. We need to carry this on because there's so much more to talk about. I know Darren, he always has stuff on his platform. You guys need to connect also because he talks about various topics on his platform on Facebook Lives. I mean, he does a lot of stuff with investing, credit, repair, and just a whole bunch of topics. So he's just a good guy to know. Anyway, here in the M Town, he's in Memphis also. So she's in Nebraska, Darren. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. But
Too cold for me there. Ooh-wee.
yeah, I got some I got some family there in Omaha. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some friends there in Omaha.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I ain't trying. Man, like you said, man. The last time I went that way, man, I was coming back from California, man. That was back in 1995.
Mm,
95, driving from California, man, 2-day drive. I drove it straight, dude.
mm.
I was a man, a wild young buck then, boy. I could stay up for 3 days and then
Oh,
still go to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can't do
man.
that now. Fall out in 3 hours. But
I, I know, right?
yeah, boy, I'm
you
telling you.
need more time.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. I know it. But
Hey,
yeah,
but hey, guy, I appreciate you for allowing me to share the platform with you and this lovely lady. I appreciate you. I enjoyed what I heard, and best wishes to you, dear, with the whole poly thing. Um, but I'm good. I'm looking for my one, and that would be plenty for me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. One is all I need. That for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to roll.
Right.
Got
Right.
clients
Yeah.
been blowing me up, man. So I got to roll.
All right, D man. We'll be hollering back at you,
Oh
bro.
Lord.
Okay, all
Okay.
right,
All right,
all
man.
right.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah,
definitely. If
go ahead.
yeah, definitely, yeah. Like we like said, we could break it down more later, another time or two. We can get into
Yeah,
those deeper
yeah.
inner things of poly. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, just general conversation period. Because I mean, like I said, I don't know. Are you into much health stuff? Where you are? Know anybody? Because I got a product. It's called a Luva. I'm gonna have to talk about that too. It's a weight loss product. I've lost probably about 35, 40 pounds in like 3 months on this stuff, and it's like a greens. It's got some
Oh,
super greens.
okay.
You pour
Okay.
it in like water. Get different flavors, raspberry or whatever. But anyway, I drink a pack of that stuff in the morning. Oh my lord, natural energy, no jitters or any of that stuff, and that's just from the greens. They got this stuff called G Burn, Ignite, and an immune builder. It's off the chain. I'm gonna have a guy on here. He's a herbalist, Dr. Franco Taylor. He's gonna come on. He's been doing it probably about 40 years, herbal medicine and stuff like that. So he's gonna be on the channel. So we talk about quite a bit of
Oh,
things
okay.
on this channel. So, but yeah. But
Oh,
we'll come
awesome.
back and we'll talk
Okay.
about
Yeah,
Polly
definitely.
too.
I know. Getting healthy after 30. We'll talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for having me on and letting me share. And it was to me, Darren,
Yeah.
and hang
And you
out with you
guys, her
guys. So,
yeah. And her cash app too is what can you give I got it scrolling at the bottom here. Her cash app is scrolling at the bottom, you guys, and check her
Yeah,
out. Hit her up on
Rensuber. Mm-hmm.
yeah, help support her channel and stuff like that because she's putting out content also. And of course, the King TKT $ TKT 901 is our cash app. It helps us to be able to keep putting content out and stuff like this. The Brazil content, and we're gonna switch to Thailand, Miss East Asia over there. That's her specialty over there, East Asia. So we might get some help with East Asia from her. So yeah. Guys, subscribe to our
Yeah.
YouTube channel. Join our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram. I'm going to put her ticker up here, her link. You see her link scrolling across the bottom here. If you go to that link, you'll actually be able to go to all her different social media sites or platforms that she's on. So we are looking forward to continuing the channel. And you guys, stay tuned because we will be coming back with a part 2 of this episode. All right, peace.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.